Hello and welcome to SIMRadio here on the Sisters in Music Network. It's Monday Music Madness and you're tuned in to Mixing It with Nicki Kris. This is Nicki, and in case you don't know anything about me, I'm a singer-songwriter from Raleigh, North Carolina. My show celebrates women in the music and entertainment industry, providing an avenue for them to showcase their talents. Our motto, Sisters in Music, together we are stronger. My guest today is a singer-songwriter with a unique and unforgettable voice that will warm you up and melt you down. I love saying that when she was on my Mixing It Saturday Live, and I love saying it now because her presence is so captivating and overwhelming. She sings only on her personal experiences of life, love, and her journey of becoming herself. A multi-genre artist, paving her own way, her songs are influenced by pop, R&B, and everything in between. Please welcome the awesomely talented and fabulous Kingsley. Kingsley, welcome to Mixing It. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. I'm so happy to have you on the show. We had so much fun on our Saturday Live, so it's awesome to have you here.
I'm excited to be back.
Excellent. So who is Kingsley? What sets your music apart?
That's a good question. Kingsley is an alter ego that I created when I was young, like sixth grade. And it was really like this coping therapy person that, helps me write my way through whatever I was dealing with in that sixth grade mind of mine. I stuck with Kingsley. I loved the name. I loved taking on a different form of myself. And I went to college and I figured out branding. And I was like, Kingsley's so dope. This brand is so cool with the crowns and the royals and purples and all that stuff. And has just, been this alter ego of myself. But as I get older and older, they're not really two separate entities. They're definitely the same. I'm pretty much the same everywhere I go. I'm very loud. I'm very bold. And I always will sing.
That's awesome. I love your branding. You have actually done a very wonderful job with that. And it's very important.
Thank you.
At least I feel it is very important in the business. A lot of people don't realize how important branding is. From a music perspective, what is unique about you or the least uncommon? So how would I distinguish you from somebody else?
Well, as you can tell in my speaking voice, I am a very, very hardcore alto. I used to love Taylor Swift because she was an alto like I was. And that's something to distinctly set me apart. I don't do any of those like high runs. That's just not my vibe. So yeah, you can always tell it's a Kingsley song if it starts off with a very low tone.
Excellent. And has your musical journey had a deliberate direction, or did it simply gradually evolve into whatever direction it found?
I think it's had a direction. I don't think I'm not at the end goal. I don't think I actually knew the stepping stones of the way. I've always said when I was younger, like, I'm going to be a pop star. I'm going to be a pop star. I didn't know anything about the indie world. So the indie world has been where I'm at right now on my journey to the end goal of being a, world touring pop icon. Yeah, it's been cool learning about indie and doing things yourself and finding your artistry that way. So I didn't know anything about this in sixth grade, but I would say my sixth grade self is pretty darn proud of how far I've come.
Your sixth grade self should definitely be proud of how far you've come. Definitely think you're going in the right direction. I would like to touch a little bit on your new album, Crying on Holidays. It's May 21st was the release date. I'm sure that was an exciting day. So tell us about its creative journey and what inspired it.
Its creative journey. So I have two stories that are one that I knew about and one that my friend just told me. So the first story is I live away from home. My whole family's in Chicago, and I'm a big family person. Like, I have 7 siblings. My mom raised us to, love each other. I never had siblings that, bickered and hate. We bickered, but we were the bee's knees. And so I'm calling my mom on Easter one day. So I'm fighting with the guy that I was talking to and crying. And I was like, Mom, I seem to call you and cry every single holiday. Like, my mom was like, you should write an album called Crying on Holidays. I was like, that's so funny. I should. And so thus it became to be. But the second story is I had one of the worst moments for women who don't want kids is I had a pregnancy scare. And I was like on Christmas Eve in this grocery store calling my best friend like in tears, like, oh my God, I hope I'm not pregnant. This is not what I want. And my best friend's joking. She's like, you literally cry so hard every holiday. And then she said she listened to the album and was like, Crying on Holidays, you made it. So,
oh my God. So
yeah,
see, it was definitely fate.
It was fate to make an album called Crying on Holidays.
It was, you know, sometimes the universe tells you what you need to know. So that's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
So anyone else who cries, I'm like, I'm here with you. Holidays don't always have to be, you know, the most amazing thing. Holidays change. You miss people. They get harder. And you're unable to get back home, especially last year. So crying on holidays to all the people. It's okay to dance and cry at the same time, you know?
Yes, it is. I'm not a big holiday fan. So I can definitely relate. So let's talk about All Me, because that's one of the songs that you brought with you to share. So tell us a little bit about it.
All Me was co-written with my best friend, who is a kick butt artist. She was on American Idol in Top 25. I can't remember the year. She plays bass for Big Wild. They're actually back on tour. She'll be at Coachella. And she has her own projects. She's toured in the UK, here in America. Haley Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, she is so dope. She was my first friend when I moved here to Portland, which is so crazy that we got closer and closer, especially during quarantine. She was in my pod. So I'm over at her house. We're drinking, doing my usual complaining about the same guy that I wrote this whole album about. And I was like, I'm just going to go home. I want to take a bath. Like, I don't even want to think about this. Like, I don't need to think about this anymore. I've already vented to you. She was like, before you go, let's write a song. And I'm pretty sure I was like, I was doing the Whole 30, so I wasn't supposed to drink, and I had a few drinks with her. And so when you do the Whole 30, you like get immediately drunk when you don't drink for like 30 days. And so I was like, no, I want to Uber. I want to go home. And she's like, let's just write. And so we sat and we actually wrote this song. And I am so thankful for Haley. The chorus is like really high on my voice. And I would never do a chorus like this. It's totally a Haley Johnson chorus. And I'm thankful for her for pushing my voice just a little bit and writing such a bop.
Excellent. Well, shout out to Haley if she's listening. So we are going to play this for our listeners. This is All Me by Kingsley.
Should've moved on, but you wanted to stay. Should've let go, had to go your own way. Now we're in this mess, bitter as can be. Are you doing well? Are you doing well? Oh, don't be. I drink all my feelings, and I read to stay sober. But I can't lie, try to move on. See, I'm right where you let me, and I drink all my money, and I try. I'm still lonely, baby, don't lie. Say you moved on. See, I'm right where you let me. Tell me it's you, it's me. Say it's you, 'cause it feels like it's on me, on me. Should've known better, but I lost my head. Should've had it all, goes, but right instead. Now I'm more fucked up. Brought me to my car. See, I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well. Oh, when it's just me, just me, just me. I drink all my feelings. Not to read, to stay sober. Fuck, I can't lie. Try to move on. See, I'm right where you let me. And I drink all my money. And I try, I'm still lonely. Baby, don't lie. Say, hold on. See, I'm right where you let me. Tell me, is it you? Is it you? Is it me? Say it's you. Say it's you. 'Cause it feels like it's on me, on me, on me. Is it you? Is it me? Say it's you. Damn, it feels like it's on me, on me.
I really love that. It's a really great pop dance track, and I'm also getting a little bit of it's got some funk in it. It definitely has like that Bruno Marsy type vibe, right? You know, funk, pop, dance. Awesome. Love it. Great song. You
It was
guys did a
definitely
fantastic.
a bluesy track.
Yep, can see that as well. Definitely. When did you start writing music?
Yeah, kindergarten. And I don't think it was necessarily like music. It was just writing in general. Like I would just write out my feelings. I was a very expressive kid, and my mom could tell, so she would just be like, well, why don't you write it down? Very dramatic, theatrical young kid, and I feel very, very hard. I blame it on being an Aries, but I am very much a feeler of feelings. And so I was writing very, very early, just like kind of like poems and not really song form until I started like singing in first grade and second grade. And then I was like, well, I want to sing the words that I'm writing. So they were like, I really taught myself how to summarize my feelings in song form. So people are always like, how do you just like write a song fully through? And it's like, I didn't even know that that's what I was training myself to do. I just really liked that singers could do it, and I didn't know the format or anything. I just thought like, okay, I need to say how I feel in the verse. I need to make a really cool hook before it comes. I need to make my chorus like the theme of it, and then la la la, and then I can do whatever on the bridge. And this is just like my first grade mind trying to like write how I'm feeling so that I can sing it. And now when I write songs, I'm just like very quick to the point. Like it doesn't take me very long to write a song. I know the format. It comes out in my head as song form already.
Do you follow the same process all the time, or do you vary your processes a little bit? If you could go into that in a little bit more detail, that'd be cool.
Yeah. And honestly, it just depends on money. And I know most artists will be like, yes, girl. Sometimes I can compose it myself, go to my producers to demo it out, send it to whatever producer I want to work with. They like do the things, make the changes. And that's how it was for Crying on Holidays. It was like 5 or 6 of the songs that were like me demoed out and send them to someone to like actually make. And then a couple of the songs were just my bandmate sending me beats and just writing from there. And it really just came down to like time. Like we just didn't have a lot of time to keep demoing out songs until the pandemic hit. Then I got to rewrite the songs that we were rushing. So
awesome. One of the questions that I ask all of my singer-songwriters is, do you have any songwriting tips to share? So I'd like to ask you the same question. Anything that you may have learned that you would like to pass on to somebody who is just starting out, or even, veterans looking for various different types of tips and tricks?
Yeah. First, read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. She's also the author who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, which was later played by Julia Roberts in a movie, which was her autobiography. So any writers that want to write, any creatives, read Big Magic. It's this incredible book that like gives you permission to live a creative life. And so one of the biggest lessons I took from that was whenever something comes to you, just stop and like feel it through. I used to always like not allow my mind to think of a song if I wasn't in the scenario where I could sit and write it fully out. So I would have something come to me and I'd be like, nope, I can't think about that right now because I can't do it fully. And there's never going to be perfect moments. And because creativity moves through all of us, it could be an idea that's lost forever or given to someone else. And so from then on, if I think of something creative, I just like stop what I'm doing, quickly doodle it down, whatever the thing is, and then keep going with my day and then come back to it later.
That is actually an awesome tip because I used to do that all the time. You know, I would think of stuff and, yeah, inevitably I'd lose it because that's exactly what I was doing. Oh, don't have time to write this down right now, or you're in the middle of the grocery store and you're like, where am I going to write this down now? I'll remember it later. So I started doing, I know, right? You know, or you're driving in your car. So I started doing voice memos. So I will whip out my phone or like whip out the notepad on my iPhone. Thank God for iPhones, right? Or Google's, you know, Pixels, whatever you may use. But, you know, all of them have a voice app and all of them have some type of notepad. And that's what I started doing because I just was losing stuff. And I was killing myself because what was that line? Oh my God, I had it perfect, and now I can't even think of it.
And then you try to recreate it,
and you're like,
and it's not
okay,
what you thought. You're like, I know it. What is it?
Yep. Yeah, that happens. It happens a lot. So that's a really, really great tip. And I have not heard of that book before, so I actually Googled it while we're on the phone here chatting. And so let's see, Big Magic. I want to make sure everybody hears that. So it looks like creating living beyond fear. Is that, I believe that's what you had mentioned. So I will definitely check that out because it sounds very intriguing.
Yay. So
awesome.
So good.
The listeners, yes. Which the other book that she wrote as well was fantastic, and that was a cool movie too. So I'm sure this will be great. So that is an awesome place to give us a pause as we take a short break here for a word from one of our partners in podcasting, the awesome Melissa Lee. We'll be right back on Mixing It with Nicki Kris here on SIMRadio.
Hey y'all, this is Melissa Lee, and you're listening to the SIMRadio Network. Check out my new song, Love, now on Spotify. Sisters in music, together we're stronger.
And we're back on Mixing It with Nicki Kris on the SIMRadio Network. And my fabulous guest, Kingsley. We shared a little bit about this on our Instagram Saturday Live. So I would like you to tell us about your lipstick collection.
Yay! It's been truly humbling and such an honor working with Event Cosmetics. They're a Black-owned makeup company here in Portland, Oregon. And I met her through Haley Johnson. Haley Johnson's mom, Diane, works there for Kathy, and I would go down to the shop when Haley's there, just like hang out with the girls and laugh. And they always give me chai tea, so I loved coming. And when the pandemic hit, I was doing my, like, downtown. I try now every day to walk 2 miles. It's been, like, my goal of, like, get your butt up and walk. So I was walking downtown, and I saw Kathy in her shop, and I was like, oh, my gosh, let me in. Like, I want to talk. And we just caught up, and she was talking about how hard it was. And, you know, I was like, well, if you make it through this, I would love to work with you. I would love to do, you know, a lipstick with you to pair with one of my songs. It would be such an honor. And then, you know, that was that. And December came, and she called me, and she was like, I have 3 lipsticks for you to try out so you can pick one. And I was like, what? And I went down to the shop, and it was just crazy. I was like, we should just take all 3 of these. They all fit me, but they represent, like, different styles of Kingsley, which sometimes I'm very bold. You know, sometimes I'm very queen-like and above the people, and sometimes I am very flirtatious with boys, girls, any person, you know, any person that'll give me a free drink, to be honest. And so we launched those on Valentine's Day to match with one single that I released. So they're titled I'm Fine, which is the sparkly one, All Me, which is the dark purple liquid matte, and then Therapy, which is the dark liquid matte. And they're all like high luxury 3C collection. It's been so cool. And I think the coolest part of the collection is that I grew up not liking my lips because I went to a predominantly white school and, was bullied really bad for having big lips and big lips and big lips. And it's just been really cool facing that version of myself and showing myself this product and showing other people, enjoy big, small, round, whatever, Cupid's bow, no Cupid's bow, those are yours, rock them.
And where would people be able to purchase your lipstick collection?
Yeah, on my website, iamkingsley.com/shop.
Excellent. I love purple, so I'm going to go check those out.
Pretty. It's so pretty.
You have pictures of you with the purple lipstick, I believe. And if it's the one I'm thinking.
Yeah, I wear the purple one the most.
Yeah, it is a fabulous color. Fabulous color. So I'm going to go check them out. So listeners, go check them out and buy some lipsticks.
Yay.
So I know last year obviously was challenging for a lot of people. Tell us how you found happiness during COVID.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite questions to ask. It was the coolest way ever. I turned 28 last April, a couple weeks after COVID happened, and broke up with the person that I had been with for the last 3 years, my first love, and I moved into an apartment by myself for the first time ever in my entire life. I just want to let people know that is the dumbest thing you could ever do is live by yourself for the first time in COVID. So I obviously went through the darkest time of my life. I ended up flying home and laying on my parents' couch, soaking in the sadness about life. I couldn't do an album, and I just broke up with my person, and I'm so alone. And my mom was like, you have to go back. You have to go back. And so my dad was like, go back and pack up your things, just come home. And so I with their money that they gave me to buy a ticket back to Portland, I flew to LA to stay with my best friend because I was not ready to go back home. And I'm laying on her couch just whining about life, and she was like, girl, this is not you. We know you're not going to get strong during quarantine, so you better get mentally stronger. And I just wiped my tears, flew back home, and was like, all right, let's face the darkness. What is the parts of my life that I allowed work to run through me? Why does my anxiety function like this? Why do I feel less accomplished because I'm not having any productivity? What is my happiness linked to when it comes to work and music? And I went to therapy hardcore. I went back to my meditation practice. I'm a hardcore Buddhist. I started getting into the witch world like most people. And from all of that, I can 110% say I've eradicated all of my anxiety. Even when I was working on finishing this album this year, I couldn't believe how unpressed by things that had happened, versus 2 years ago, the way that I was right before my album came out with stress-wise and anxiety-wise. And I can 100% attribute it to my breath work and my meditation practice and just reading all the things that I wanted to read that I couldn't read, these books that are supposed to make you better in life. And yeah, so that's how I found happiness, just facing my demons and kicking their butts.
Well, awesome. Okay, you mentioned something that I piqued my interest a little bit. So before we get to talking about the other song that you brought with you, I'm Fine, you mentioned that you got into witch world. So that's intriguing. So I'm going to ask, what do you mean by that? How does that play into some of the healing that you
witch world,
found?
So crystals, crystals, using crystals for different things you want in life. I do full moon, new moons. My best friend's a pagan, so I read her first pagan book, and I do a lot of, some people call it affirmations, you can call it spells. I do a lot of spells, which is just, speaking the things that you want into existence. It's the witch world is literally like the normal part of your day is just called something different. And so I think that's why it scares people, like, oh, she's doing witchcraft. Like, no, bro, I'm just trying to work on myself.
That is really cool. A friend of mine gave me a Super 7 stone. So I actually have a Super 7 stone that I carry in my purse. And I grab that when I start to get like a little stressed. And it's literally just, grab it, take a hold of it, take a deep breath, and then all of a sudden, like, everything's gone, and it's like a weighted list. So that's why I was really intrigued when you mentioned that, because I was like, oh, there's probably more.
Yeah, the Super 7 stone is so dope. It's rare, too, because it's like 7 different crystals in one.
Yes.
And those ones I know are for releasing negative emotions. So that's the perfect crystal to, like, take all that you're feeling and give it into the crystal, and the crystal transfers energy back. You give it the negative, it'll put back good into the world.
Yeah, it's awesome. My friend is a Native American Indian, and she's fabulous musician, does a lot of Native American type of music, but she's very spiritual. So, when I see her, she's always such a lovely person to be around, but she gave it to me the last time we were in Los Angeles together, and I touch it frequently. So awesome, so great. So I'm glad you filled us in on some of that stuff. That's really wicked cool. So let's talk about I'm Fine. What inspired this song? I can only imagine, but I'd like to hear it from your perspective.
Yeah, I'm Fine is a Chicago house style. I think my dad was the first time he cried listening to my music, out of just so proud, because he grew me up on Chicago house music. I was either listening to Disney Channel, gospel music, or Chicago house. That was the only choices in our home. And my bandmate Jack sent me 3 beats, and he was like, "I've been working on some beats for you. I would love to be on this album." I'm like, "All right, whatever. Let me listen to them." And one of the beats was this one, and I just immediately started humming the melody. I was like, I can hear it go just like this. I just started writing. I was like, I know that it's a song. I could feel it in my body. I'm like, this is the song that's going to be at the end of my album. That's I'm going to be good without you. And I called it I'll Be Good or something like that. Yeah, I co-wrote this with my best friend who started this company called Women Crush Music, which helps women get into spaces in the music industry. And she's so dope, Ashley Curvavon. I co-wrote it with her. Yeah, it's a big thank you to the relationship, but I'm good, actually. I'm actually going to be fine. And I think women say that all the time, I'm fine. This is to give power back to the song. You going to be fine. Or boy, or they, them, you going to be fine.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, here is I'm Fine by Kingsley from the Crying On Holidays album.
I'm fine. I don't need you alone. I'm fine. I'll be fine. Now that I got my shit together, I'll be fine. No need to worry about it. You made me weak. I was begging, kept this baby steady crying. I was foolish, I was stupid. Guess I gave it to the lion. I recovered from your damage. Too good for your baggage. We don't know better off without you. I'll be fine now that I got you out my system. I'll be fine now. No clothes you needed for me. You made me bleed. I was fragile. All your actions, feelings gambled. I was split. I was hurt, sick of losing every battle. I moved up, I moved on. Good girl turned to savage. We both know I'm better off without
Love it. And I also know that you have a video for this song as well, correct?
Yeah, I do. I have a video for all me too. I have a video for all 3 of my singles that came out.
Excellent.
But this one was the first one that I released.
Cool. And where can they, obviously, why don't you tell us, give us your socials and things like that so that they know where they can find all of these lovely musical creations.
So they were created by and directed and edited by a dope woman of color who's in the LGBTQAI community, Cameron Falls. And the camera woman was actually a Black woman too, so I got to work with all women of color. Like, it was just the dopest. I've never had a female camera operator ever. So Nika Kris and Cameron Falls, thank you guys so much for being on my team. And these videos are exclusively on youtube.com/KingsleyMusic. And you'll find them all from there. And they're lovely. They're amazing. We use the same equipment they do in LA. They were like the biggest cameras I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm sure they were fun to shoot.
It was fun. Music videos are tough. They're long. They're like 12-hour days. They're so long.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Trust me. I know exactly what you're talking about. Totally get it. Yep. Well, before we sign off, is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners? Any show plans, any touring plans, websites, or, where to find you on social media?
So this album, since I couldn't do it live, I created this thing called Drinking on Holidays. It is a recipe book that pairs with my album. So Crying on Holidays with the recipe book, Drinking on Holidays. And I'm starting to do pre-orders. This amazing, talented, young Black illustrator, Diamond, is creating all of these gorgeous photos of me. I can't believe how I look as a cartoon, just beautiful. So those will start very soon. And then other things to look forward to is I am going to be releasing my live album for Crying on Holidays, hopefully at the end of June, and that was filmed in Seattle. So it's just more things always. I don't stop. I like to keep releasing. Socials, Yo Kingsley Music, or if you just type in Kingsley Music on the internet, shall find me.
Fabulous. Kingsley, it has been so awesome to have you on my show. I'm so glad that we got to chat a little bit more deeply on some of the topics that we talked about in the Saturday Live that you participated in a couple of weeks back, as well as learn a little bit more about you, your music, your spirituality. All of it has been so much fun, such a pleasure. Thank you for joining me today. Thanks everyone for tuning in to Mixin' It. On behalf of everyone at SIMRadio, this is Nicki Kris. Until next time, keep on mixing it.